Hi, this is my second time here with you today. I'm going to just give it a minute as people hop on here. All right. Hello. So we are talking about today saying no to all the different requests that you get from all types of different people, from your family to coworkers to colleagues to random people on the internet, and doing it kindly. I am curious, for those of you who are hopping on, what are the reasons that you don't say no? So if you're somebody who feels like, oh God, I let people walk all over me and I need to get better at saying no, and I'm such a people pleaser, or I just feel scattered. I'm curious, what is the reason you have trouble saying no? So if you could let me know. Hi, Elizabeth. Great to see you. If you can let me know in the chat, in the comments, I would love to just acknowledge some of the reasons. Yeah, so Luxty says, I don't want to hurt anyone. We have guilt listed as a reason. Yeah, so I don't want to hurt anyone. I feel guilty saying no. So those are really both about concern about other people's well-being, which is completely beautiful. I think being concerned about other people's well-being is a really important part of being human. So I just want to be clear that this conversation is not about being cold. It is not about being heartless. So Elizabeth is saying, thinking I might miss out. Michelle, I want to fit in with everyone else, but I know the things I'm saying yes to are wrong. Thinking I should have been organized enough to say yes. Shame, so I say yes. Obligation. Denial that I really can't do it all. Yeah, so if you're resonating with some of these reasons, just throw up some hearts. Let me know that this is resonating with you if you feel the same way about saying no as some of these folks that are also chiming in here. So the reason today that we're talking about saying no to all of the people kindly is to handle that feeling of not wanting to hurt anybody and also feeling guilty if we say no. So if you are in the camp of not wanting to hurt anybody and feeling guilty if you don't say no, then today is for you. And I just want to acknowledge another reason coming through, not being aware enough of my own needs and the impact of saying yes. So yes, that's also a big one, and maybe during a different conversation. And I know for sure during the no challenge, we are going to address those things. So has anybody who's live on right now already signed on to do the no challenge with me? That's starting in about a week and a half. We begin on May 3rd, and you can go to katenorthrup.com/no to opt in for that. So if anyone is already signed up for the no challenge, it's free. And for 8 days, we are going to practice saying no to one thing a day. It has a business lens, but even if you don't have a business, you're welcome to join us. Okay, so saying no, a lot of people say no is a complete sentence. I'm going to just go ahead and put the link of signing up for the no challenge in the chat here in case anybody wants to join in. And I'll pin that. Okay, great. So Lucy's in. I love that, Lucy. So glad you're joining in for the no challenge. Just trying to pin this. Okay, great. Awesome. So some people say, oh, no is a complete sentence, right? And I agree. Like, you don't have to give people reasons, and you don't have to have an explanation or all of these, kind of reasons or disclaimers around your no. You don't have to. And I believe in a simple no, but I also believe in a kind no. So one of the things that is an element of a kind no is the acknowledgement of the invitation. And so I love to start a no with, thank you for thinking of me, or thank you for the invitation, something like that. So I like to start with gratitude. And so I'm going to give you my equation, my little formula for a kind no. So I go with, thank you so much for thinking of me. And that's great. And that applies if somebody's, that applies really well in business specifically when people are asking you if they want to do an interview with you, or they want to partner on something, or they want you to promote their thing, or they want you to speak at their event, or they want, they want to pick your brain, or they want any number of things. And if you're struggling with a particular category of saying no, please feel free to type it into the chat and we can talk about it. But when it comes to requests for your time, I always like to start with, thank you so much for thinking of me. Even if it's, hey, can you come to this party? Or, hey, do you want to go to lunch or whatever? Oh, thank you so much for thinking of me. I mean, 2 girlfriends invited me to lunch the other week and I just didn't have the bandwidth. So it was, thank you so much for thinking of me. I wish I could, which was true. By the way, I really think your no's should be honest. So, starting out with gratitude is an amazing way to start, a kind no. And then second, be honest. Now, if I'm saying to somebody, thank you so much for thinking of me, I wish I could, I better be being honest about I wish I could. If I don't actually wish I could, I don't say that because I'm not a liar, right? And saying things that are white lies or saying things to kind of butter people up or make them feel good, if it's not true, they will feel your lack of authenticity and they will feel gross leaving that interaction. Our goal here with a kind no is to leave the interaction so you feel really awesome about honoring yourself and your priorities, and so that they feel awesome about the interaction. It doesn't mean they might not be disappointed, because oftentimes people will be disappointed when you say no. But it doesn't mean that you would lie and make them feel gross or rebuffed or pushed off, right? So that's why I love a genuine thank you, and then the next thing is, I'm not able to blank, I'm not able to participate, I'm not able to whatever. Sometimes I will say, due to my limited bandwidth. So that for me is a great umbrella phrase that I use to say no. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm not able to due to limited bandwidth. Or I might say, I'm not able to because I'm prioritizing my launch right now. I'm not able to because I'm prioritizing spending time with my kids. I'm not able to because I'm whatever. But oftentimes I won't give a reason other than limited bandwidth, which is a great reason because we all have limited bandwidth. I do not say I can't because I'm too busy. And I'll tell you why that's really important. For me, I don't believe in being busy. I don't ever want to have to say no to things because I'm too busy. That's not the do less way. That's not what I live. That's not what I practice. That's not what my community origin is about. It's not about being too busy. It's about knowing how much bandwidth we have and being really conscientious and devotional around where we are allocating that bandwidth. So if somebody asks me to do something and it's not on my priority list and doesn't feel like a hell yes, then I will often tell them it's not, due to my limited bandwidth, I'm unable to. And then I close it out by saying, I wish you the best with XYZ. I know it's going to be awesome, and I'll let you know if anything changes. So those are the elements. Number 1, gratitude. Thank you for thinking of me, or thank you for asking. Number 2, I'm not able to due to limited bandwidth, or I'm not able to because I'm prioritizing this. I'm not able to because I'm focused on writing my book, whatever it is. I like to, for my own self, to affirm what my priority is and say that rather sometimes, because if I'm really clear that I'm in a book writing season, or I'm really clear that I'm in a, have lots of free time so I can be with my kids season, then I like to say that. And I will also have my team say that. So that because we're not always saying no every single, not every single no is going to come from us. You might have other people who are fielding requests for you, and you can let them know what you're a yes to and what you're a no to. And everyone can know around you your priority. Like if you know in the month of June, you need to write 5 chapters of your book, you better let everyone around you know that, so that the key players and the key gatekeepers in your life can also affirm that that's your priority. That really helps, so that you have that guidepost and that, like I said, gatekeeper, so that other stuff that is not that thing you've claimed as your priority doesn't seep in the side door. In fact, one of the things we do in our company, and I have a blog coming out about this next week, so if you want to make sure you get that blog, we have company no policies. So if you want to make sure that you get that post, just if you miss it on social or if you forget about it, because there's no way you're going to remember next Wednesday when it goes live that you heard about it on an Instagram live of the previous Thursday. So you can just head over to katenorthrup.com/list. And you can get on my list so that you get that blog post. So the blog post is about our company-wide no policies. And one of them is that when somebody sends an incoming request, they need to go over to katenorthrup.com/requests. The reason that is because that intake form allows us to vet the opportunity and see if it aligns with what we're focused on as a company right now. Now, I don't willy-nilly just say yes or no to things in my DMs or via text or via email, because I know I have to save myself from myself. I know that left to my own devices, I say yes to too many things. So I've built in these blocks to slow myself down and prevent myself from my own worst habit, which is getting excited about things and wanting to say yes to all of them. I am an Enneagram 7. I don't know what you are, but feel free to pop your Enneagram number in the comments if you know it. The Enneagram 7 is the enthusiast. So it is my total Achilles heel to just say yes to everything and end up with way too much on my plate. So I do things like have company-wide no policies, and the person who answers the email that comes into the inbox at info@katenorthrup.com. Oh, we got Lucy's a 2, so she's the helper. The person who answers the inbox knows what the no policies are, so she doesn't have to come ask me about every single opportunity. She's got the no policies, and then she can just, deploy them herself. And that saves me a lot of time. That saves her a lot of time. That also gets the person an answer much more quickly. And it also empowers her to, really own her space in our company. So I highly recommend having no policies, so that also I believe saying no relatively quickly is also a kind thing to do. So it's fine to delay. And I wrote a post on my blog this week, which you can read over at katenorthrup.com/blog, with a suggestion that I used to use more often, but I don't need it so much anymore, which is to say to people, I'll get back to you. Especially when somebody would ask me about something at a live event and they were right there in front of me, and they would say like, hey, will you be on my podcast? Or hey, will you promote my book? Or hey, can we collaborate on this? Or hey, can we book a coffee date or whatever? I would say, hey, can you email me that and I'll get back to you? Because again, I know that my Achilles heel is to want to say yes in the moment. I'm right there with that other human. We're having this in-person connection. I want to feel connected, and based on my own history or whatever, I have a tendency to want to feel connected to them through pleasing them and making them happy. But I also know that at the end of the day, when I do that, I end up not being happy because I say yes to things when really I don't want to do them. So a delay is fine if you say, will you shoot me that in an email and I'll get back to you in a couple of days. But I don't think that having people wait for huge amounts of time is necessarily the kindest thing you could do. I also am not a huge fan of the non-answer for a no. That's pretty passive. I think a direct answer is the kinder way to go. Now, this is my opinion, and this is just how I do things. It doesn't mean you have to do them this way, but it's worked. I have a beautiful, thriving business and a wonderful community of people, and my most abundant resource is my relationships. And so I feel like it's working. I feel like it's working. Okay. So I think sorry, I got a little off track I was reading one of the comments and I got a little confused by it. Okay. Sorry. I'm back with you. So saying no kindly, again, if you can do it in a direct manner, so rather than just never respond, saying no directly, I believe is the kinder way to go. Doesn't mean I do it every single time, because sometimes emails get lost. Sometimes I forget to respond to a text. So nobody is perfect in this way, but I think we need to let go of perfectionism anyway. But in general, I try to be direct, because when there's a open loop, that's an energy suck for me and the other person. These open loops of like, there's an email thread that hasn't been closed down that's just sitting in my inbox, or they're wondering, can I do this thing? And that's holding them back from moving forward. That's why I like to close the loop. And as soon as I open an email, or as soon as I get a request, I like to just make that decision right then. And honestly, it's easy to do when you practice, which is why we're doing the no challenge. So if you go to katenorthrup.com/no and join the no challenge, you'll get to practice along with me for 8 days saying no. And you can write right into the Facebook group and ask what comes up, ask about something that's coming up for you, and get feedback and come on the lives. And we can in real time practice saying no, so that you'll get better and better at knowing when something comes across your plate immediately, is this a yes or a no? And you'll just start to know, like your body will tell you, or your policies will tell you, because sometimes, you're tired and whatever, and your body's signals are mixed, and you're, identifying too much with your past trauma and whatever. And so that's why your policies can help. And one of the things we're going to do as part of the no challenge is help you craft your no policies so that it's not so challenging to do this anymore. Okay. So Lucy's saying, can I get back to you? I think I'll try that, especially with a friend who always wants to do something when I don't. Yeah, Lucy, that's completely fine. What I found also, socially speaking, is that certain friends have a different cadence of socializing than I do. I'm actually, for an extroverted person, I actually love spending time alone, and I can go quite a bit of time without having a social engagement. I also live with 4 other people. So between my kids, my husband, and Amanda, who helps us take care of our kids, our au pair, it's pretty social at my house. And so I find that some of my friends want to get together more often than I'm able to. It doesn't make them wrong, and it doesn't make me wrong. It's just that our capacity is different. So I'm good if I have one social thing every week with a girlfriend, 1 or 2. That's what I need. But I have friends who need something every day, or something every few days, or who want to talk on the phone. And I just don't. I just generally don't want to talk on the phone. And at this point, my friends know that. I just don't pick up the phone. Pretty rarely. But if they're having an emergency, they know I'd be there for them in a second. So Lucy, I also think giving yourself just as a baby step, saying I'll get back to you, can be a really helpful warm up for beginning to be able to say no in the moment. But saying no in the moment is an advanced practice. So there you go. Marilyn says, I love the no is a full sentence thing. Don't explain or defend your choice. Powerful, and yes, kind. Kind to yourself and the other person. Also extremely clear. Yeah, Marilyn, I love that too. But I will say, if I ask somebody something like, hey, do you want to go to lunch? And all they said was no, it would feel rude. And so I think in actual, I love the whole idea of no is a complete sentence and that we don't have to explain ourselves, but I do think we need to be kind. And our culture is such that I like adding in, thank you so much for the invite. I'm not able to due to limited bandwidth, but I hope you have the best time, right? So that's still that's 3 sentences as opposed to 1 word. I feel better about that interaction than just saying no. I just would never only say no to somebody. So I hope that helps. How could I say no to my girlfriend when she wants me to meet her parents? Please help me. That's a great question. I don't know enough about the context to be able to answer that. Relationships are much more complicated, and I don't know why you wouldn't want to meet her parents, and I don't know why she wants you to, so I can't really answer that question. I'm gonna pass on relationship related ones, or that particular one, just because out of context, I can't really answer. Any other folks have questions about saying no kindly? I would love to get into them with you before we wrap up here. Saying no kindly. Anybody on your case to do something and you just don't know what to say? By the way, I believe boundaries are kind. So just because you're saying no and you might disappoint somebody, you are being kinder to them. You may not be being nice, but you are being kind and loving to them by not duping them into believing you want to do something when you actually don't. The worst thing is to be with someone who doesn't want to be doing the thing you're doing, or if I were putting on an event and I found out that the 8 speakers I had brought in for it didn't want to actually be there, I would be devastated. That is not kind, right? But being clear with people about our boundaries is an act of kindness and is certainly an act of love. So that direct communication is so incredibly helpful. And when it comes to your business, if you're not saying no, you are for sure wasting your time and energy on things that are not a good use of your time and energy because they're not moving the needle. You are for sure going to end up overwhelmed. You are for sure going to be focused on projects that are not in your highest purpose. Your business exists for a reason. Hopefully you know what your purpose is. Hopefully you're aligned with that purpose. If you don't, we have some amazing resources in Origin to get clear on that. And Origin is my membership for people who want to learn how to grow their businesses with feminine energy business practices. And the doors to Origin open in early May. And you can get on the wait list over at origincollective.com. But your business exists for a reason. Your business is not here to help everyone with everything. Your purpose is to do the thing you were put here on earth to do, which means saying no to the vast majority of everything else. And Alec, I just want to give you a shout out. Thank you for the work that you do. So if I was to, people want me to do a lot of things, right? People want me to talk about, some people want me to talk about mindful parenting, or people want me to create a course on selling or create a course on podcasting. I know how to sell. I know how to podcast. I think I'm an okay mom and pretty mindful. But that is not what I'm on the planet to do. I am on the planet to help get you in your body so you can access your deepest truth and run your business from that place. Because when you are tapped into your deepest truth through accessing the wisdom of your body, you will move mountains. That is your most powerful spot. So that's my purpose, is to help you access that. But it's not to make every course for everybody who asks and speak on every summit for everybody who asks and be on every podcast for everyone who asks and review every book for everyone who asks. If I did all those things, I would never get to fulfilling my purpose. And that would be a major bummer. For me, and because your purpose is designed to fit into this particular spot in the world that was designed specifically for you to fit into it. And if you're out here doing all these other things and saying yes to everybody else, and yes to every new marketing strategy, and yes to every new social platform, and yes to every new thing, and all the things people want you for, then you won't get in the spot that has your name on it. So that's my soapbox moment. If anyone has any questions about saying no and how to decide what to say yes or no to, make sure you are following along on my email list, katenorthrup.com/list, because that's where I'm sending out my more practical kind of step-by-step thoughts, and make sure you've joined the No Challenge, because that's where we're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty with this stuff. So thank you all so much for joining in. It's a pleasure to be with you as always, and I will be here next week. Daniela, thank you for being here. Daniela and I were in conversation this morning, that conversation about getting back on the horse with doing less after burning out. So that conversation's on my IGTV. Thank you all for joining in. Please share this conversation if you found it helpful. Tag a friend in the comments, let them know about it, share it on your stories. And I will be here next week in another conversation around another aspect of saying no. But I want to leave you with this. If you are not systematically, habitually saying no every day to many things, you are going to end up overwhelmed, burned out, and not living your purpose. That is almost a guarantee. And so learning to say no is essential for you living your most authentic truth, making the biggest impact you can, and being as joyful as possible, not to mention making great money. So please join in for the No Challenge, katenorthrup.com/no. I got the pipes. I'm so glad that you got the book. I love your screen name there. That's awesome. I got the pipes. Thank you. I don't know if you're a singer or if you're talking about like muscles, but either way, I'm here for it. Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.